Hi. Good evening, everyone. Good evening, folks. Safari, I see you. You're the first on deck. Good evening. Very early. Welcome, guys. Welcome. Just gonna take some time to welcome everyone and give some folks chance to join us tonight. You are tuned into our virtual community dialogue with CSPOL, and welcome to yet another such program where we try to talk about things that pertains to our community, things that pertains to the development of our community and our people. So tonight we will be having, I'm still fixing up, sorry. Yes, so tonight we are expecting to have yet another productive evening and a very timely and necessary discussion. And we will hopefully have two guests to join us tonight at different points. So, in the meantime, let me welcome all of you. Thank you for being here. Please share the live with somebody else, especially folks from the town, no matter where they are in the world, but especially those who probably in the next few weeks, 1 week really, pretty much, are considering going out to cast their votes in what is what should be or what will be the town council election. And so, of course, my quest, personally, my quest is to give an avenue for the various candidates, the various nominees to present themselves to you, the general public, to talk a little bit about what they see as their role and willingness. Why are they willing to offer themselves to serve in that capacity as members of the town council, so that they can actually, or councillors, as they can be called, councillors, as they be, well, they vie for that. So our hope is why do you want to serve on our, why do you want to serve the town in that capacity? Last week we were able to talk with Mr. Ashton Revere, who was a guest on last week's program, and I must say very, very informative. And it was what I would call a well-worthy discussion with Mr. Ashton Revere last week, Friday. And a number of you did share your thoughts on the town council election. You had quite a few questions, and a lot of it, Mr. Revere was able to answer and clarify some details as a person who has been on the council before. He's not currently serving in this term, but he served before and was able to share with us. I just thought maybe I could just tell you that I feel like from last week to this week, Ashton Revere has continued his quest to encourage people to support him. He's going up in Ward 4, and he has lately, I think I see today, I saw that he has a flyer, and I thought it to be very impressive, and it looks something like this. And hopefully you guys can see it on his page. If you go on Ashton Revere's page, you will catch a glimpse of his banner and his flyer rather. And he does have, you could say, like a little report card of some of the things that he has undertaken over the past times that he has been serving in community, not only on the council, but as a community member, as a concerned, you could say, a concerned and active member of the community. So tonight we are changing gears and we're trying to speak to two other people. Well, I was hoping that guest number one would probably be already there, but I don't see guest number one. So guest number two is already there, which is very interesting. So I think we should just go straight into it and start talking to one of our guests who is already here. And I'm hoping that he's ready as I am. It's good that he's there. You can see that this is a young man who is interested in showing himself to you, the general public, and to offer to you his thoughts and his ideas and, why he's presenting himself. Again, I must say that I've noticed a number of commentaries going on and some debate, you could say, very healthy debate as far as I'm concerned, and healthy discussions about the town council election. And some folks believe and feel that the election is very colorful in context of politics or partisan, so to speak. And of course, a number of people have expressed the fact that they don't think that it should be partisan, and um, and it is affecting, you could say, the way people vote is affecting probably the productivity of the community and the potential of the community. That is something that you, as Portsmouth people, us as a town people, will have to determine whether we want to change that kind of trajectory or whether we want to continue in that, if that's what it is. So your vote, Portsmouth, your vote. You who is listening right now, share the live with somebody. Tell them to come on board because we have an interesting discussion for them tonight. But your vote is what is going to determine what our town council will turn out to be in the long run. Granted, all of it is not in our hands, but as a people in the community who have the capability to vote, I know some people say, me, I'm not going to vote in town council election because it's the same thing all the time and so on. But I believe that we as a people, if we vote, we can change things around and do what we would like to see done. So your vote is your power, your vote is your strength, your vote is your voice. So I hope that all the candidates will go out and talk to the people, tell them why one-on-one, but also show your face and come and answer the questions of the people as well, so that people can make a very informed decision as to why they're voting, who they're voting in a ward, and not just because, well, I know this person and they're voting X party and I am X partisan, so I'm going to vote for this person. I think our community is bigger than party, and we need to recognize that and put Portsmouth first in order for us to see more growth and development in the town. That's my personal perspective. And so I am throwing it out there, and I'm hoping that we as a people will get on board. So we have with us tonight, I see some of you here. Safari, I see you very early. You were the first person on board. Micheline Valerie, welcome. Micheline, we also have Michelle Gittens. Hi, Michelle, welcome. We have Veli Lawrence. Welcome to tonight's discussion. That's those I'm seeing, but I'm sure there are some of you on the Facebook platform. I see some of you on Facebook and some of you on my YouTube channel. There is another Facebook account that some of you might be on that I might not be seeing at this point. But send your questions if you do, or your comments. I welcome them. And let's see how we can have a fruitful discussion tonight. Okay, let's keep it civil. Let's keep it very professional and respectful as much as possible, but hoping that you will express your thoughts and your views. So I want to take the opportunity tonight to welcome our first guest who is waiting, and he's a young man, and I am very pleased that he is here to share with us tonight. So let me welcome him. Hi, good night, Glenworth. How are you? Okay, we can't hear you. I'm not sure. Maybe it's your mic. Check your microphone to see if it's on.
Okay.
I have all
Can
my.
you hear me now? Can you hear me now?
Yeah,
Yeah.
hearing you a bit now.
Okay. It was
Speak
me.
again.
Yes. Can you hear me?
Much better. Much
Wonderful.
better.
Wonderful.
Yes. Yes. How are you doing?
Hi. I'm fine. I'm fine. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you.
Wonderful.
Let me thank you for joining me tonight on tonight's discussion. It is a pleasure to have you, and I'm happy that you took the the invitation and reached out and said, "Hey, I'm willing." So thank you for doing that.
Likewise. Thank you. Thank you to you also. It is my pleasure, to be here. I think it's important that when we are going up for public office, and in a sense this is what this is, the
Yes,
people, the public need to see who we are and know what we are about. So thank you.
I agree. Thank you so much. Yes, so I know some folks know you as model.
Oh, yes. The stem from the grandmother.
That's
Yes,
right.
yes, yes.
So those of you who do not know him, you're wondering who is this young man. If you know the lady called Maudlin Wallace, people call her Modo in Zika. She's his grandmother. And so in football on the field, I'm sure, and a lot in the community, folks call him Modo. Okay, Glenn, they're saying that your audio is a bit low, which is true, right? I don't know if you have some more volume, or if you can put the microphone probably closer to your mouth so that they can hear you. I'm not sure. But
Okay.
you're
This improvement? No.
much better. Yes,
Okay.
definitely.
Okay.
All right, great, lovely. Okay, so They call you model. Your name is Glenworth Elizee. I know you as an ardent footballer. I pass you jogging sometimes when I'm walking. You're jogging. I've seen you play football with Bombers. Are you still playing with Bombers, by the way?
Well, every time I get that question, my response is I'm on pension. Not actively as before. I my role now is to influence.
Okay.
Life has taken me a bit out of the football.
Yes.
But the passion is still there. And I've learned for football that you keep your body healthy. That is why you see me running every time.
Yes.
Healthy
Yes.
body, healthy mind. So that's the
Yes.
drive.
Great. Excellent. Also, you are an entrepreneur. Can you tell us a little bit about your business?
Okay, so my business is Elizee Electrical Services. What we do, we install and repair generators. Do house installations and repair faulting. Basically, anything it has to do with wire, all your electrical technical needs. We can address that. That stem from a childhood gift and dream. I from time I was born, I just decided I'm going to make it with electricity, and I didn't know how at the time,
Yeah.
but I just kept to the books and prepare myself for opportunity and grew very gradually. People who know me and know my beginnings would appreciate where I came from and the gradual step and the disciplines. I've learned a few things to reach that point.
Yeah.
And I always like to express that with the youths. If I can, why can't you?
True. Excellent. I love that. It's great how you have channeled your the learnings or the lessons that you have garnered in football, and you're able to channel that into your own business, into your own professional life or your career, which is being an electrician and making a difference for so many people. So commendations on that to you.
Thank you.
Yeah, what made you go into business? I mean, I know you said you always wanted to um to get into electricals, but or electricity being that your career, but what led you to actually starting your business? I know before that you worked at Ross University, am I correct?
Yes, yes. For 6 years. Even while working at Ross, I've had the business. It was not so publicized.
Yeah,
But the type of person that I am, if you're going to do it, you might as well do it properly. And
true.
so as time progressed, I just found ways to improve and reach out to the people. It's a service that I offer, and I love it. And
Mm-hmm.
so um, having it structured in a business format lends me the opportunity to reach people wider, and also by getting more clients, I can engage more employees,
Yeah,
youth, and teach them the electricity way, how it works. And not only that, any of the youths that you see working with me, they will tell you I ensure that I try and give them advice, and that is life advice.
yeah,
Because from my upbringing, I have learned quite a bit, quite a bit about preparing for opportunity, quite a bit about getting up early and
yeah,
being disciplined at a task. And so I always try and impact that on the youths. So most of them they do follow, and I'm happy about that.
great. I like that. How many people do you have working with you?
For a recent job, sometimes off and on, it really depends heavily on workflow.
Mm-hmm.
And we are not immune to COVID,
Yes, yes,
unfortunately.
yes.
But like our recent job right now, we have three young men who work.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, and it's always good fun. I teach them the discipline. They don't come on time sometimes,
Yeah,
and that can't work.
yeah.
So it is good fun. I call them my sons.
I like that.
My I call them my sons, and
Mm-hmm.
so I really have a passion for young men. I love to see young men do well and do better. Um, it came from my working with the academy
Yeah,
as a younger man, and I had the chance to like literally mold some young men, like hold their feet
yeah,
and see them improve. And so I have that passion. Men are the pillars of our society, and
Mm-hmm.
you would know, like in Portsmouth, we
Yeah.
have incidents where our young men are killing our young men.
Yeah.
And so I would like to see that change. I think
Wow. Wow.
some positive, some education, if we can attack the mind, because I don't think there is a child who from birth decides that's what I'm going to do.
True. True.
I have never seen
Mm-hmm.
a
Mm-hmm.
career day in preschool
True.
with a criminal. I see doctors, lawyers, electricians, and somewhere along the line, something happens that changes the mindset of those individuals. And I think it's important that we have, program structured to take care of those individuals, and to mold them and to fashion them into a socially acceptable manner.
Wow, this is this is so dear to my heart. To hear you say that, it's something that I have really, I've been struggling with hearing, viewing, knowing what is happening in the town. I personally have talked a lot about it and done a few things about it myself. But it's great when I can hear a young man from the town. In the case of you, being able to express your concerns about that, and most importantly, your passion and your love for the young men in the community and wanting to see a difference. So I think this is great. You're on the right track there with that attitude. So you have offered yourself to be hopefully elected and to serve on the town council in Portsmouth. Can you tell us why you want to do that?
So it stems from service to the youths,
Yeah.
and that is through the Portsmouth Academy. And recently, I had, that thought, that desire to make a better, stronger, more positive impact on the community. And so I was wondering how,
Mhm, mhm.
and as luck would have it, divine intervention, as they say. Somebody called and said, "Well, would you be interested in joining the council?" I thought for it for a minute, and then I said, "Yeah."
Wow.
So the the the, the reason stemmed from simply a desire to make a meaningful contribution to community.
Excellent, excellent. So it's your desire to make a change, to make a meaningful contribution to your society. And you did not even hesitate. You said you
No,
thought
no,
about it and said
and
yes
that
right away. Um, you are offering yourself in ward number 3.
free, not number three, CCAC
Yes, and
chance,
that is Zikak and Chance.
chance.
Right. As a person, a resident of that location, that area, what are some of the things? I mean, I know you've mentioned about your passion for the young people to make a contribution. As a matter of fact, I saw your flyer tonight and you highlighted youth development, which is, that's me, that's what I do. But what are some of the things in this area that you see and needs to be addressed, and how do you intend to target some of them if you get elected?
Well, if I get elected, there are, in speaking to the people, since I
Yeah,
decided to run, I met with some people. And
excellent.
at the core of it, it seems trivial what they're asking, honestly. Um,
Hmm.
People simply want drains to be repaired.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
I think that's things we can look into. There also the issue of the public convenience in Chant that has been out for a while, and nobody seems to be paying attention. It may be that it is not necessary, and we might have to look at a probably different idea, remodel it, and use it for a different purpose. But
Hmm.
in terms of if I am elected,
Yeah.
and the way about it is, there is this saying that goes: if you had a grandmother, put nespila paka witi on your tet, you know, this means that all the wisdom does not reside
In
in
the
one head.
heads, yeah.
So I think the approach is, you need a community approach to community development. And so
Yeah.
if I'm elected, I think the very first thing within our ward is to organize a committee of people who will
Yeah.
look at what is actually necessary, give them priority, and through me will take it to the council and move forward in that.
Yes, this is something that is, in my view, is so necessary. I live in your ward, by the way.
Oh,
Um,
of course, I'm aware.
I live in Ward 3, and of course, um, more and more, it is visible, it is clear that there is need for that cohesiveness that you're talking about, where people can come together. I, just like you, I share the view, and I'm happy that you highlighted it, that community development should really start with the people. And people, if you say community development, how is it that people mean is not directly involved in the development itself? And so I'm happy that that is one of the approach that you are proposing, that you will undertake. And it is my hope that, and I'm sure a lot of the people who probably are viewing now would be saying that they're hoping that it becomes a reality once if you get elected, that you'll actually see that happen. Because sometimes people go and they promise things, of course, before election, and then post election they forget the people pretty much.
Well, the people who know me and who deal with me, um, my history will prove otherwise. My history will prove otherwise.
Yeah.
I am someone who keeps my word. I believe strongly in that, and
Yeah.
especially when you come from poor family,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
your word is what you have as
Yes.
value,
That's true.
and so you
That's
really have to keep it because once it's lost, you can't get it back.
true.
So,
True. Wow. I love. I must say, I'm impressed with just what you're sharing tonight. Personally, um, as a young man, one, and two, as a first timer, what are some of the things that people are telling you as far as counsel? I mean, are they how are people responding to you? I mean, you said that some of the things that they were talking about that they would like to see and so on. And your approach is, let's meet together and let's talk about what is best for the community. But what are some of the things that people are? What feedback are you getting? Are people interested in council? Are people interested in voting for town council election? What are some of the feedback that you're getting?
generally, it's negative. People are not interested in voting. People don't know where to vote. People don't know if there is a council. Um, Generally, by and large, people are not too concerned with council. I think it's because they do not see the effects of the council, and
Mhm.
so I think that would be important. The council raising awareness of what they actually do,
Yeah.
and conducting programs that engage community. And so if you engage the people, the councillors come out and meet the people, one on one. This is who I am. This is what we're doing. A
Yeah.
family night, have a structure where an event where the old share stories, and engage the young, and so traditions continue and that kind of
Hmm.
thing.
Hmm.
But
So you would like to see some level of uh, collaboration between the elders and the young
young
people.
people, right?
So there is a to bridge that gap that might be existing, and
Just
also to sort of capture and protect the traditions of the community.
community.
Yeah, how do you view culture in the town right now?
In terms of culture, right now, I think it's a bit on the decline. You know, I remember a long while. They used to have these small groups
Yeah.
doing the ballet, and quite honestly, if there is a group and they perform, I personally don't know where it happens. So I think that needs an injection of adrenaline, so to speak.
Hmm. Yes. Okay. So interestingly, there are some questions coming up. Well, one person said they love what you are saying. By the way, another person said that is Safari saying she loves what you're saying. Miss Valley here says that very intelligent. Just giving you some feedback here from the folks. Jacqueline Edwards says, I am impressed with this young man. Didn't know that he was so eloquent, which is true. I've never heard you speak that much, Glenworth. So me too. I'm kind of shocked, but happy so pleasantly shocked. And then Kareem, a young man you know very well. You guys played football together, am I correct?
Yes, yes, of
Right.
course.
He says mobilization of young people should be easy for you. However, how do you plan to mobilize all the folks and the elderly as they somewhat take more of an interest in voting on the actual election day?
Okay. The I spent a lot of times with my grandmother.
Yeah.
I speak to her on a daily basis,
Hmm.
and at the core of it is to get the young people, because the old people are not as mobile. And so I heard the phrase that the the, the sun that shined yesterday is the same sun that shine today.
Yeah.
So it is really impacting on the young people, the
Hmm.
relevance of going out there and going to meet and touching base with your elderly people and drawing of their wisdom, because I really believe they have a lot to offer us. So
Hmm.
to answer the question, I will engage the young people, help them to understand the value of the old, and hopefully through that method they would go in and socialize and re reestablish themselves, so to speak, with the
Hmm.
OP, the
Yeah.
elderly people.
Okay, yes, but I think he's also asking you how do you intend to encourage the elderly to go out and vote? Because he's hoping that it's easy for you to influence the young people to go out and vote. Yeah.
Okay, I think it is. I'm going back from my grandmother. She says basically she needs to see a presence and it going
If I can help you, I think earlier you did mention that one of the things that you have been doing is dialoguing with some members of the community. Am I correct?
right.
Right. So maybe it's something that you can also consider. Like you do, you visit your granny every day. Maybe there are some other elders in the ward, the entire ward, that you probably have not yet touched base with, and you can probably go to them one on one and urge them to consider. And not just elderly in terms of those who are not mobile, but even some of the more senior individuals who take a greater interest probably in elections, but they don't feel that they should go out and vote because to them they are probably disappointed in the town council. I don't know. I'm just saying, you know.
Valued suggestion, and I will definitely put it into practice. Thank you.
Yes,
We are
yes,
we're learning here.
yes. I think engagement of people is very very important, especially now. I think over the years, I don't have the statistics as to the turnout to the Portsmouth Town Council election. I don't yet have that. But it would be interesting to note how much people really go out to vote, and even those from our ward, how have people been voting? It's something you can maybe explore yourself and to see how you can impact that as somebody offering yourself up to be elected. Of course, there are another three people offering themselves up for our area, Ward 3. Um, I mean, is it a team that you guys have, or are you on your own? How is that? How is that working?
Personally, I'm on my own.
Yeah.
I definitely seek advice across the board, um, both past and present council members. How does
Mm-hmm.
it work? What should we do? And as for the others, I am I'm not too clear. It appears in some cases that it's a team, but
Yeah.
we are by and large we are independent, all independent as far as I know.
Okay. All right. So I'm hoping, honestly, that I mean, I'm very impressed with you personally. I have to tell you of the bat. Maybe I'm trying to be as neutral as possible here, but I'm very impressed with the things that you had to share tonight. I am excited about your offering to meet the community. It's something that I have been longing for. And before, just so you know, back in the day, and when I say back in the day, it makes me sound pretty old, but I'm just saying a few years ago, we had what was called a Chance Improvement Committee. And for a number of years, we did a lot of work in the community. We used to meet down by Pastor Luis there in the church, and that was our meeting place. And we used to have people all the way from your area, your income, all the way down to our area to have those meetings. We did a lot of community projects there, developmental and also beautification. And I must tell you, where I live right now in Ward 3, I have a lot of concerns about how there's being kept or unkept, so to speak. I think there is need for more consideration and support from the council. So I'm throwing it to you because you are the one who is offering you, one of the people offering yourself to serve. And one of the things I would like you to look at as a young man too is consider the whole way our people drive in chance. I don't know if you've ever noticed it. We need some speed bumps in chance, and I'm throwing it to you too. So make your list because these are some of the things you're going to probably have to find out from other people whether they think that that is something that's needed. But I'm kind of throwing it to you because you are in my ward and you are the first one on deck to talk to me in that
Okay.
area. Okay. Is
Okay.
it
No
something
problem.
you've noticed? Is it something you've noticed and
It
you've
is
been?
something. It is something I've noticed, like literally right outside my door, and
Yeah,
the neighbor would always say that we need some speed bump. We need some speed bumps. Some people really drive recklessly, and we have it's a neighborhood,
yeah.
and it's a developing neighborhood, so we have a lot of young children running up and down. So definitely some measures of control needs.
Yes, yes, excellent. I see a number of people who are commenting abroad right now. Some of them are saying they wish they were home, they would vote for you, they are very impressed with you. But I'm hoping that the folks who are here, who we're not really seeing right now, are watching, are viewing, and they are getting the point, and hopefully are considering to go to vote because they're listening to what you have to offer as a young man in the community. Folks are saying to you to go out and talk to the people. I think that's what they want you to do. Go out and talk to the people, engage the young people, engage the elders, engage the middle-aged folks, get their thoughts on the whole election and what it is that you as a young man would like to do. I know other young people have offered themselves, and honestly, I've not seen much of their work in the community, just saying. So it would be great for you to make an impact. All right. That's my view pretty much on that. Um,
And that's the plan.
yes. What else would you like to share with the people who are viewing and maybe those who are not saying anything but they are watching you, they're listening from the ward? What would you like to say to them?
Come out and vote. That's that's very important.
Yeah,
But at the core of it, let's make the election
yeah,
the massive turnout. I think each person has a responsibility to encourage someone else to look at the persons who are offering themselves and
yeah,
make an informed decision for whichever ward that you form part of, because at the end of the day it affects us. So I hear
yeah,
people say that I'm not going and vote in council election, I'm not this. But if you don't make a decision,
yeah.
by default you
Mhm.
accept what you get,
That's right. And you
and
shouldn't talk after. If you're not satisfied after, you shouldn't talk
right,
because you can go. You know?
right. So I think that's it. um let's come together, let's create a plan. It is simple, I think life is simple. If you look at the analogy with a ship, you know that is setting sail
Yeah,
to Guadeloupe, 9 times out of 10 it will always reach Guadeloupe, because what happens when you have purpose and direction, and that is what will happen if community come
that's
together and steer themselves properly. You have it heading, you check your gas. You make sure you have gas in the boats, all your life vests are in, so you prepare to make progress. And
yeah.
9 times out of 10, with a destination, preparation, definitely will make it. So encourage the people, and let's all come in and make the community Portsmouth what it we would like it to be. Yeah.
I have to ask you before you go though, and it's one of those controversial matters in the town right now. Um, what are your views on how people vote and even the whole? Well, let me just put it this way: a number of people in the town are perturbed and believe very strongly that town council election is partisan. What are your views on the election, town council election? Do you think that town people should vote based on political parties for the development of the town? How do you view that?
Well, personally, after general election gone, you don't have party again. Me personally, and
Yeah,
it is a community, and the community is made up of all colors, and
yeah,
so if you bring party into it, definitely it is going to disrupt, because if I come with a good idea and I am branded, then for no reason rather than my brand, then people are going to poke holes in the idea.
yeah,
And from what I'm hearing, that seems to be an issue. Um, I am going in with good intent and
yeah.
an open mind, and so I am going to assume that all the fine people who are presenting themselves for to be voted in are coming in with good intent. So
Sure,
politics, there's no place for it in a community setting. I mean, it's
sure.
a community, and,
Mm-hmm.
and and all colors reside in the community. So
Yeah, I am with you on that. That is my perspective. I believe strongly that the town council election should be free of partisan affiliations and whatever it is, because sometimes those things just create just havoc in the community rather than to bring people together, to merge people, which is what we need now more than ever. You hear people talk all the time. Portsmouth is a place of potential. Don't you hear that all the time? Like, Portsmouth
all
has
the
a lot
time.
of potential. And I always say, well, where is the potential? Who has it? And what is keeping that potential from rising and being what it should be? So that's why I asked you the question tonight, not to put you on the spot, but as a person presenting yourself as an individual, I wanted to get your perspective on it as well,
Oh, it's
Yeah.
no problem. I am as democratic as they come. As
Yes,
democratic as
yes,
they come.
yes. So we appreciate you. And I want to personally wish you all the best on your quest towards serving us in this part of the of the community, this Ward 3. I want to wish you all the best in your campaign. I hope you have a campaign strategy, because you have we can vote for people in the ward, right?
No, no. You
How
can only
many
vote
people
for
can be voted in by one person?
two.
Right.
You can only
So
vote for two.
I used to think it was three, by the way, but I'm hearing it's two now.
Yeah, three would be a spoiled ballot.
Right. So it's two. So it's very important. If you want to emerge as one of the two in your ward, then it's vital for you to do your campaign, right?
Right, right.
Right. I like that you put out your flyer. That's a good start. Um, Go to the people, talk to the people. That's what I would say to you. Encourage you to go talk to the people, tell them your plans, tell them hear from them what it is they would like. And don't make promises you cannot keep. That's my view. No promise you cannot keep. Someone will tell you, well, you want me to vote for you, give me money. Don't do that. Personally, I'd say no. That's not what you're there for. I think your goal is to make an impact on your community in a positive way. If the people select you, you serve. And I live in your ward, so if you're elected, I'm willing to work with you. All
Thank
right?
you. All right.
Okay, good. So if you have anything else to say, say it now.
Well, I just like to encourage all the persons of Ward 3, Zika and Chance, to come out and vote
Yeah,
for me. I
yeah.
stand for progress. I stand with you.
All right. I love that. Thank you so much, Glenworth, and it was really great having you. I want to wish you all the best. All right.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Or feel free to reach out if anything. If you whatever way we can support you, influences can support you. Go right ahead and reach out. And
Okay,
thanks
no
again
problem.
for accepting the invitation. All the best.
Thank you. My pleasure. All the
All
best to
right.
you too.
Thank you so much. All right, folks. So you heard from Mr. Glenworth Elizee, and he certainly was very eloquent. He shared a lot with you tonight. He spoke about some of his plans, his passion for young people, his passion for electricals, which is what he does, but he knows how to use that, and of course, to channel it into his own personal life, the way he lives, discipline. He talked about going to work on time. So this is a young man who sounds like he's very disciplined and focused. He knows what he wants. And I encourage all the people in Ward 3 to get to know him a little better, engage him, so that when you're deciding, you can make an informed decision based on what you have heard tonight. I'm not there for any one team or two teams. My role personally as a community person is hoping that we will get the best team at the end of the day to serve us in our town as a council. That's my personal view. So I'm really, really hoping that folks, you are listening, tell other people to get to know all the nominees and engage them in conversation if you need to. Ask them questions so you can make an informed decision. Don't go asking them for money. It's not about money and begging them for favors. It's not about that for their vote. Your vote is more important and it's more expensive than a drink or a something that you might be asking for, some money in your pocket. Your vote is very important. This is people serving you for a number of years, okay, in the community. Okay, stay with me, stay with us tonight, because we do have His Worship the Mayor, who will join us in just a moment. But I want you to allow me to get a little break, just like a few seconds break, that is, and to ensure that our next guest will certainly be ready for us so that he can come on. Bear with me as we take a quick break. All right, a very quick break. Just in the meantime, share the live, tell somebody. If they can't find me on Facebook, they can find me on my YouTube channel, Influences. And while they're there, they can subscribe so that they can know next time when I'm on. Hit that little bell so you can know when I'm on next time. Stay tuned, all right? C's is right here. All right, here we are. Yes. And we're talking about virtual community dialogue. And tonight we are focusing on the Portsmouth Town Council election. This is the second week that we have been focusing on this. Last week we had one guest. Tonight we have two. And I'm hoping that going into the new week, we just may get a few more people to join us and to share with you their plans and their activities. I'm hoping to bring on to you very soon His Worship the Mayor. I'm hoping he has a video because I can see a T, but I'm not seeing your face, Mr. Mayor. If you have something so we can see, yes, that's better, man. All right, good. So very soon I'm going to bring on His Worship the Mayor of the Town of Portsmouth, Mr. Titus Francis, who is offering himself again to serve our community on the council. So here we go. I'm going to bring him in. And again, I'm saying to you, if you have any comments, any questions that you would like to ask the mayor, please do. But always remember, let's keep it respectful and let's keep it civil as much as possible. Indeed, it is great, yes, C. Jacob, that our young people are stepping up. We're very proud of Modo, very proud of Glenworth Elizee, and all the other young people offering themselves to serve us. So we're switching gears and going to His Worship the Mayor. Mr. Mayor, good evening.
Hi, good evening. Can you hear me clearly?
I can, if you would, but I want to see your whole face. I want to see your smile. Yeah, that's
all right. Thank you very much.
yes, we know you have a bright smile, so it's better now.
I hope that works for me.
Yes, it does. I think it does.
All right, thank you.
Well, you can tell us if it worked for you before. You should know.
Well, so far it's carried me through. So let's see what happens this time.
Excellent. So thank you, Mr. Mayor, that's how I call him, folks, by the way, Mr. Mayor. So I hope you all don't mind. That's how I call him. If he hasn't told me that he doesn't like the name either, so I continue to call him that way. But if he doesn't, I will change it and call him Mr. Francis for you.
Tonight, tonight you can call me Mr. Francis. Probably before we even go, the thing is, yes, I can expand on that later on in the discussion. But
sure,
the council is dissolved as is now.
Okay,
but good. For purpose of functionality, I still hold the title of mayor.
Okay,
and to ensure that there's continuity in the council.
Yes.
Okay, so basically, yes, I still serve as mayor.
Okay, that's understandable. And I appreciate the explanation, which is, I think, last week, I think our guest mentioned that the mayor, the mayor continues, because again, as you said, for functionality purposes. So yes, a number of people are saying good evening to you. There is Edwin in London saying good evening, His Worship the Mayor. Welcome, Mr. Francis.
Thank you very much. Good evening, everybody.
Yes,
And
so
your viewers, yeah.
indeed, thank you so much. So let me first of all thank you for accepting the invitation. And we know you are not a novice to Portsmouth Town Council and the matters of the town. Mr. Mayor, well, I don't know, I have to call you Mr. Mayor.
Okay, for purposes of the discussion, we can go with that.
Yeah,
but, it is not, sorry, yeah? It is not intended in any way to influence people's opinion insofar as the outcome of the election is going to be.
That's right.
Okay? So let's understand that clearly.
Sure. And now and then I may switch and remember to say Mr. Francis. So that is
just as good.
All right, good. So can you tell us, I mean, people know you. A lot of people know you. Back in the day, involved in so many things, Peacock, Carnival, I mean, a number of things, credit union. So Ross University, I mean, I have in my head, just very quickly, I could just, at the tip of my finger. But for somebody, maybe a younger person viewing, they know you as the mayor, but they don't know much about you, maybe because of their generation. Maybe their parent didn't tell them, they didn't know. What would you tell folks about you, that a young person, maybe they're at voting age and just doesn't know you? What would you say to them about you, especially those maybe in your ward who are considering voting and they're not sure?
Okay, well, if we want anything I say to people in my ward, probably speak to people in Portsmouth generally.
Okay,
because
good.
I even if I am from Lagon, I've lived in Lagon all of my life, but in the same way, by extension, I have lived in Portsmouth all of my life.
Yeah.
I am a community person, and from a very, very young age, I got involved in community work, even up to this point in time in my life when I've retired from working, so to speak.
Yeah.
And still continue to give whatever energy I still have left in me to the community. So very, very briefly, I was involved. I'm not even going to talk about my primary school days, when a former schoolmate of mine met me a few years ago and told me, as far back as Standard 4, and people who understand what Standard 4 is in the primary school system back in those days, means that you have not reached a senior class yet. So from Standard 5, because it's only when you go to Standard 5 you would do common entrance. So in Standard 4 you're still in small school, so to speak.
Mm-hmm.
And that lady told me, even then, she always saw leadership qualities in me. Okay. So I won't talk about my primary school days, where we were very much involved in organizing inter-class cricket competitions and inter-school cricket competitions. St. John's School Standard 4 playing with government school Standard 4, or a St. John's School cricket team playing against a government school cricket team, and Savonpai at the time, and so on. So I was always involved in some kind of activity which required the coming together of people. Then I got into secondary school. I started secondary school at the St. Mary's Academy, did 2 years there, and was among the first set of students who attended the Portsmouth Secondary School back in 1971 when PSS was opened. And that's a little bit of history again, And when I got into PSS at third form. And again, that drive to be involved had me first to become the first president of the school's student association. All right, was the first president of the Portsmouth Secondary School Student Association. I was the first head boy of PSS, and at the time PSS was operating a school's newspaper named Bombo, and I was the first editor of Bombo. You know, so again, I was fully involved in the extracurricular activities of the school. We had a dance troupe. I was part of the dance troupe. Yes. There was a drama group. I was part of the drama group. How did we all find time to do it at the time? Well, PSS was a co-ed, first co-ed school in Dominica, largely experimental at the time.
Okay.
But after school, we came back after one and did all those little things together with people like Arundel Thomas, Juliana Maglow, Gregory Rabes, and some other teachers. So again, at the secondary school level, I was again getting involved in people, organizations. I can tell you one little thing that was very, very instrumental. Sometime back, it was somewhere around 1972 or 73, when the government at the time, which was, it would have been 1972 or 73, when the government at the time, which was the Labour Party government, and deceased Henkel Christian was Minister of Education. During Parliament budget speech, he stated that the Portsmouth Secondary School, the government had completed the Portsmouth Secondary School, and students went up in uproar, you know, and staged a demonstration. And we marched through the streets of Portsmouth. I was right up front, and we demanded a meeting of parents the afternoon at the Credit Union Hall at the time. And that was a big thing, you know, maybe that was among the first student demonstration in Dominica. So I'm telling you that to show that not just only have I been involved in community, but also concerned about people's welfare and people's development. School, I can fast forward. I was involved in the youth movement. There was this very progressive youth group called PISEC, Portsmouth Youth Society for Education and Culture, around 76 into 1980 or thereabout 81. And we operated a library after Hurricane David. We had our own clubhouse. We teamed up with a group of Dominicans who lived in St. Croix. The name of the group was Project Dominic. And they provided us with a lot of stuff which we would sell out to people, which helped us raise funds. They provided us with books. So we opened a library when the public library was destroyed after Hurricane David. And PISEC was a very, very progressive youth organization, island-wide, was looked upon. And one of our major projects in Portsmouth during that time was to have set up nameplates on the streets of Portsmouth, you know, and all of that was voluntary. So the business of volunteerism has been part of me throughout my upbringing as a young person, as an adult, and even now. Okay, so there was PISEC. Then by expansion, I was president of the Dominican, I was first president of the Dominican National Youth Council between 1975 and 1980. Wow. And yes, and then towards the end of 1980, that's after the 1980 election, I became president of the Dominican National Youth Council. So I was president of the Dominican National Youth Council for a while, okay? And then back in Portsmouth again, I worked with the Portsmouth Credit Union for 9 years. And during that time, back into community again, we had Peacock. And Peacock was, again, a household name in Portsmouth when you talk about carnival and carnival activities, competitions, and so on. So even with PISEC, Portsmouth Youth Society for Education and Culture, focus on culture, dealt with Miss Wobduet and those kind of things during independence. We used to organize exhibitions of local art and craft around independence time, those kind of things. So I am saying that to show that getting involved in the town council is nothing new to me. It is something that has been part of my life. So offering myself to serve on the council, not as mayor, mind you, because we will get a chance to explain how the mayor is elected, but to serve as a councillor is part of my DNA, so to speak. Working with people, helping people, and seeing people develop on a community basis.
Thank you for that historical background, I would say, of you. And just to say that listening to you going back in time and sort of capturing a number of those achievements, and also in doing that, projecting and showing how Portsmouth, in my view, was kind of leading a lot of things. I mean, when you were telling me that the first president of the National Youth Council hailed from our area, and then you're saying very early you were involved in student government, and of course leading with PISEC and Peacock. I mean, we know of how huge Carnival was back then in the town. I think in a sense it makes me not nostalgic because some of it I know about, but also it, and I'm sure a number of people might be feeling that we are missing something, Mr. Mayor. We are missing something that was existing before. It's great that you were at the helm of the council, before it was dissolved. Do you think that we have lost some of the fire? I mean, you were a man clearly of a lot of fire from what you're saying. Do you think with time you have become a bit, maybe more, I don't want to use the word docile. I think docile is sort of negative, but maybe a bit tranquil, if I can use that term. And so, because folks might be saying, boy, what happened to Carnival? You've heard those expressions before. I feel people feel like Portsmouth used to be kind of leading more, and what has happened to us, even in culture. I mean, Carnival is culture, but I'm speaking here especially the traditional dances and so on. Of how we used to have those cultural groups in the town. So, I mean, from your perspective, what do you think has happened to us?
Okay, so let me just comment. If to use the word, my tranquility,
yes,
as a result of redirecting my energies. I think I believe I had done my share, because even though people still meet me sometimes and tell me about around Carnival time, what are you doing?
Yes.
In the days of Peacock, as if to suggest, boy, you need to come back. But I think there are times when you have to let go of certain things and redirect your energies into things that you are better able to deal with the same intent and the intent of helping people. Yes, I think generally, maybe, okay, we're talking about Portsmouth, right? So let's stick to Portsmouth. Yeah, let's stick to Portsmouth. I think maybe in those days I talked about, there was less distraction. I believe there was less distraction. We didn't have TV. We didn't have internet. So people could afford to spend their time in something almost away from home. But with the advent of the internet and technology, people have somehow become more individualistic. I won't say selfish, but somehow I've come to the point where they pay attention to themselves and they stay in their little hole and so on. But still, for all, they expect somebody to do what they themselves could have become part of doing, So then you have a small core of people bearing the brunt of the work, and most of the times without real support. And so somewhere along the line, people who may have been enthusiastic enough to begin or take the initiative, it falls on the wayside because they don't get the necessary support. They don't get the encouragement. And you have to be strong. And I'm going to say, you have to be in Portsmouth. You have to be strong. Your back have to be broad. to get involved in community work, because it is going to come at you from all angles, you know. And if you're not committed, if you're not prepared to disregard the distractions, if you're not prepared to disregard the distractions, stay away from it, because it's going to knock you out.
Yeah. This is a warning.
Yeah, for real.
And do you have a head? Do you have a headpiece?
No.
Okay, because we're getting a little. When I speak, I hear myself back, so it might be a bit feedback. I don't know if somebody's listening with you, maybe on another gadget in the house.
No.
Okay, so but anyway, let's hope it will. Let's.
And my phone is away from me and it's on mute in any case.
Okay, but you're hearing me clearly, right?
Very clearly.
Okay, good. So, but I was saying that sounds like a warning. I mean, I'm hoping I see people are offering themselves, and it's great. Young people are offering themselves to serve, and it's good. But I'm happy you were kind of throwing out that warning. I don't know what makes us so tough as a community that you're saying that if you're not tough in this area and you put yourself to serve, you could really give up, or you could fall. It's unfortunate, because I mean, at the end of the day, the community development is not just for one set of people, but really it should be for everybody. But maybe I can ask a question then. Do you think that the council over the years has really sort of harnessed maybe the community's potential as they should, maybe in terms of coming on board to support some? I know you said that usually it's a handful. I mean, I remember we were planning Heritage Day, and we were struggling for manpower and human resource, clearly. But at the same time, we pulled it off. So do you think, Mr. Mayor, that the council itself has sort of reached out enough to the community and to sort of let the community buy into some of what maybe the council wanted to do back then? Do you think that was done enough?
Well, there's always room for improvement, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
And so to answer the question, it's a yes and a no. And to say that as you move along, you will employ different means of reaching out to people, We've tried some town hall meetings, and a handful of people show up, Again, you might want to use technology. We did launch a website, but we didn't get, it is still operational, I think, but we didn't get far, because when we go into the discussion, I hope I have the opportunity to tell you how we had planned to manage the website. We had somebody who was on staff who was going to be like the administrator, but then eventually that fell apart, So those things, but moving forward, I listened to your previous guest, Glenworth, and I was really impressed because I was following it, and I'm honestly very impressed with the enthusiasm, with his foresight as a newcomer, very, very critically, and it is nice to have people like that wanting to offer themselves for service to the community. Most people know him as Modo, and as a footballer, I mean, that's plenty of community involvement. So he already understands what it is to serve in the community and freely, So I'm saying that to mean, with the number of young people who have offered themselves for election this year, you'll have a blend of youth and experience, and that in itself now will allow for the council to develop a strategy of outreach to the municipality, the people in the town, using different aspects of communication that can appeal to the older people who you probably meet one-on-one, and to the younger people who carry 2 phones in their back pocket,
Yes. Yeah. Well, I think, thank you for sharing that. I think it's really necessary, the outreach that you spoke about, because if you followed maybe last week's discussion and even earlier 1 or 2 comments, you will realize that a number of people feel that there is need for that kind of connection and that outreach, in the community. You said that you are tranquil because you have rediverted your energies into new things, and you said maybe things that you are better at doing. Would you be able to sort of share maybe what are those things that you think are your strengths now, in comparison to maybe the youthful energy that once drove you to do maybe more advocacy and so on. What has propelled you, or what is that new energy that you are now? What is that new place that you're probably redirecting your energies?
Okay. One, over the years, sometimes you get to the point where you tell yourself, boy, I need to pay attention to myself. I mean, everybody do that at some point in time in their life, for a number of reasons. You think you've given almost, you might want to use the word enough to community, so it is time to give to yourself. Okay. So therefore, it almost appears as if you've taken a backseat,
Yeah.
or non-involvement. And then when you figure you're at a point now where you've taken some things off your shoulder, then you figure now you can devote, and mind my word, devote yourself to volunteerism. Because this is not one where you get up at 8 o'clock in the morning, you get dressed, you take a bag and you go and sit down in an office until 4 o'clock. You know what I mean? Volunteerism is one that have you working 24/7. I mean, my experiences in all those various organizations working voluntarily is one where people don't understand that you have a life.
Yeah.
And that is not complaining, because if you're complaining, then don't put yourself in it. And I said that a while ago. Don't put yourself in it, because it's going to be very demanding. People at all weird hours of the night. Your telephone number is public, and you cannot make it private because you are involved in public life, so to speak. So I'm at a point now where I figure I have more time to devote to community, and that is why I have come back, so to speak.
Come back. Okay, so how many years have you been serving on the council? How many have you been ever since you came on? Were you the mayor? How many years have you been serving?
All right, I got into council in 2014, and that was my first time as a councillor. And throughout the 3-year period, I served as mayor. And then when we were re-elected in 2017, I have served as mayor as well until now. So for 2 terms, so for 6 years, I've been a councillor, and throughout those 6 years, I've served as mayor.
Are you interested in continuing to serve as mayor if you are selected?
I am first of all interested in serving as a councillor. And if well, let me just answer that question by explaining to you how the mayor is elected, right?
Yeah.
So there are 4 wards, and each ward will elect 2 councillors. Interestingly, this year there's going to be an election in all 4 wards.
I'm happy.
Exactly. Last year there was no election in Ward 3 and Ward 2, that is the Zikak ward and the Glenville ward, because only 2 people were nominated for election. This year there are 4 people in the Zikak ward. There are 3 people in the Glenville ward. There are 3 people in the Portsmouth ward, and there are 4 people in the Lago ward. People can vote for as many as 2 candidates. You may choose to vote for 1, but you cannot. If you vote for 3, then you've spoiled your ballot.
Okay.
If you vote for 1, your ballot is good. But you can vote for as many as 2 persons. Okay. So people will be elected. After those 8 people are elected, government nominates 5 persons to complete the council. So you have 13 councillors. Those 13 councillors meet, and from among those 13 councillors, persons are nominated for chairman of the council. And it's interesting that even from among the nominated persons, those persons can also be nominated as for the position of chairman.
So who nominates these people for chairmanship? Is it the
from among the 13? From among the 13, yes.
All right.
Okay.
Right.
Now, whoever wins gets the majority votes. That person is chairman, but the chairman carries the title of mayor.
Okay, good.
You understand?
Good.
So based on that, if I am nominated for so you have to win or you have to be nominated to get on the council, first of all. Okay?
Yes.
So that is why you are not running. You see, like in America, I'll give you a little joke here. Like in America, you run for the position of mayor.
Mm-hmm.
In Dominica, we have 2 mayors, the city of Roseau and the town of Portsmouth.
Mm-hmm.
And that is how even in Roseau the mayor is elected. And for the last mayor in the last 2 years, 2 terms, 2014, 17, 2017, 2020, the mayor was from among a nominated person. You understand? So
Right.
if I am nominated, if I get on the council either as an elected person or a nominated person, and I am nominated for the position of chairman, I will accept the nomination. If I win, no problem. If I don't win, that is not what I came on for primarily. I came on to serve as a councillor. I will serve and give my best shot as a councillor.
Okay. Thank you for sharing that.
You know, I was just going to, let me give you a joke, right?
Yeah.
So I have a grandson who is American. So in sometime it would have been sometime in 2016 or thereabout. He came to Dominica and I went to see him. Well, that's my first son's son. So we were talking, you know, it was at his grandmother's birthday party. So when I entered the house, I told him, here's your grandfather, or here's your grandpa. The little boy stood up and he watched me. He watched me up, he watched me down. You know, in local parlance, we say he sized me up.
Size you up.
And you know what he asked me? Are you rich?
Because you're the mayor.
Because I'm the mayor. Because in America,
Yeah.
a mayor is a rich man. You know, so that's the concept he has of a mayor. So for his grandfather to be a mayor, he considers himself to be in the circles of rich people.
Right.
But you understand? So it's voluntary. And I was at pains trying to explain to him that this mayor thing in Dominica is very different to what he knows in New York and the American states. Okay, fine.
Right. All right. Thanks for sharing, Mr. Mayor. Yeah. So, wow. The question I had though, for the 5 people who can be nominated onto the council, can any of them be people who did not run for election this time around?
Yes, because government reserves, you could make recommendations to government, right? For example, what happens sometimes, government will consider persons who offered themselves for election and didn't win and would select from among those people the nominated persons, all right?
Yeah.
But then the government reserves the right to nominate anybody that it thinks can make a contribution to the council once they are registered and live within the municipality of Portsmouth.
Okay, I got that. Yes, so that is something that I'm sure the folks who are listening and viewing are happy to, and I'm hoping that they understand now, are happy to know, you know. Can you chronicle maybe some of the achievements of the council over the last 3 years in the town, things that your council have been able to undertake? And because sometimes, you know, people say council not doing nothing. Sometimes we get mad at the council. I get mad at the council too, you know, Mr. Mayor. So
I can understand.
So can you at least maybe tell the folks some of the things that the council has been able to achieve over the past 3 years? I know you said you served for the past 6 years, but let's look at the last 3 years, the last term, and the last term, yes.
Okay, you know, even government, with all its resources, people still say, "But what government doing? Government not doing nothing." So, what council is doing, I'm not seeing anything council doing. People ask questions all the time. Council not doing anything. I want to answer that question by saying, I was trying to see if I can get an analogy, but it doesn't come to mind. But let me just put it bluntly. The council depends on people paying their property taxes to be able to do anything. Okay, let's understand that. So you can criticize the council, and when I say you, I don't mean you, right? I mean people can criticize the council from January to December, and you do not pay your property taxes, then the council basically cannot do anything.
Okay.
The outreach programs we're talking about, that will be primarily talking to people. I can remember when my mother was alive, my mother would make sure she pay her property tax twice a year, regularly and religiously. And there are some people like that. And you know who those people are? The older people.
Because they understand.
Older people.
They understand.
They understand.
Do you think our generation understand the importance of paying those taxes? I mean, I really think there is need for an education on that whole property tax matter in the town.
Agreed. And let me tell you, the rate is
low.
Maybe it is the rate that making them not pay. Yes. You know, if it was something significant, then they would be forced to pay, because they know at some point in time, if the council were to take action against them, it would be significant amounts of money that they have to pay. But anyway, to answer that question, I can tell you that council's funding, like I said, is dependent largely on people paying their property taxes. Government provides the council with a monthly subvention of $17,500. That $17,500 pay salaries to both monthly paid employees and our daily paid employees. It pays for light, it pays for electricity, water, well, not water, but for electricity, telephone, and general operation administrative expenses, including the honorarium of over $3,000 to the 13 councillors, and we can talk about that too. So by the time you use that money, you are almost at zero. So things like vegetation maintenance, we are limited in how much we can do, how much we would like to do. People complain about storm drains, or the drain is not being maintained. That is true. But then can we operate without paying our employees their salaries and take that money to do those things? That's debatable. You know, and I've been in the council for 6 years, and the employees have not received a salary increase for those 6 years, and more than 6 years. And that is simply because the only way you can offer employees a salary increase is if property taxes are being paid and paid regularly, so we have money that we can, because that in itself will motivate people. So,
right. So just to plug in something there. So someone is saying, so why do those who pay property taxes have to suffer for those who do not pay? And he said he or she said they're a young person and always pay their taxes up front. So I suppose you have people who are saying, I'm paying my taxes, but I don't get services. So I don't know how that can be dealt with, because some folks don't pay and some folks pay within the same vicinity probably. And they feel that I'm paying and I'm not getting service, so why should I continue to pay? You know, I've heard people say that too, and some people say, well, they're not paying taxes anymore because the basic things that they ask for are not being done. So it's a very ticklish situation.
Right. It's a case of the chicken and the egg. Which one comes first? You know, which one comes first? So, okay. So you figure, and the services are not individualistic, mind you. The services are directed at improving sanitation, beautification, operational issues within the town. So whatever little monies that are collected out of property taxes go towards improvement of the town, cleaning the drains, weeding the grass on the side of the road and the sidewalks and those kind of things, and so on. So it's not a matter of I can understand persons' concern that okay, but I'm paying, so am I being penalized at the expense of other people? No, that is not the point. But the point is a big town. It's not Portsmouth proper. I listen to you and Glenworth, and I listen to you complain about comment about your own complaints in ward in your ward in Chance, and yes, Chance is a place I believe could have been better developed, to be very honest. Yeah, Chance, I think whoever was the authority at the time, they made a mess of Chance. They made Chance is a maze. It is confusing. You can get lost in Chance. And I understand the initial plan for Chance was to tie it in terms of access in the same way as Portsmouth is. So you would drive from any street in Portsmouth and go straight into Chance. But Chance is like by itself now. And that wasn't accepted because the powers at the time thought that you would be wasting too much land, you know. But I'm saying that you have Glanville, you have Laron, you have Water, you have Cotton Hill. No, you have the new Cotton Hill development site. You have Georgetown, and you have Picard and Tibet. All of that is comprises the boundaries of the town of Portsmouth. And so it's not a situation where because more people pay in Chance or ZICAC that we're going to use all the resources to focus on Chance. I mean, that is kind of selfish. So it is used for the overall development of the town. Okay, so it is not penalizing anybody, but we really wish that people would understand that, okay, yes, you can say, I'm not paying my taxes because council not doing anything. Why don't you say, boy, council cannot do anything because I'm not paying taxes. So let me pay my taxes and let me see if there's going to be an improvement in some of the basic things that you expect from the council, okay? So that being said, I can answer your question in terms of the last term. What are some of the things that we focus on? Well, the last term, council was elected on the 11th of September 2017.
Okay.
Yes,
wow.
11th of September 2017. That was a Monday. And the following Monday, we had Hurricane Maria. So you know what that means.
Yeah.
Everybody was in shambles. You know, anyway, we pulled ourselves together later in the year, and we tried to see what could be done. So council was involved directly and indirectly in the cleanup of the town, not as council, but individual councillors were directly involved. We had our truck was involved in cleaning up, transporting debris and that kind of thing. You know, so that was one of the things coming out of 2017, and then we moved into 2018. I could say too that it's not something that you people are aware of, but through our relationship with the Caribbean Local Government Forum, CLGF, and the Commonwealth Local Government Forum, we were able to access funding, which allowed us to repair the abattoir in the market. That is what we call where they slaughter the pigs and so on. And we were able to repair a section of the abattoir based on the funding that was made available to us to cover it and have it functional sometime in 2018. And that was up to a tune of about over 40,000 EC dollars. That is money that was given through the Dominica Association of Local Community Authorities. That is the apex body, DALCA, right? So that was one of the things that we were able to do. In that last term as well, our focus has been directed at regularizing and improving the operations of the market. Even now, after Maria, we started nicely, and even COVID, before COVID, we made a good move, and then COVID came, and then we had to relax on the restrictions that we had imposed on the market. But we had improved work. We had done some work in improving the roof of the market, the electricity in the market. We appointed a market clerk, and the intention behind appointing the market clerk was for that person to oversee the daily operations of the market, including ensuring that vendors used the market space, which is the designated space for vending in Portsmouth.
Well, that is one of the big challenges right now, Mr. Mayor, because people are not complying.
People are not complying, and over the last 3 weeks, with the help of the police, we were able to move people off Bay Street and get them into the market.
Right.
You know? And even that has met with
resistance. Yeah.
Resistance from, unfortunately, our own people. Our own people in Portsmouth find council running behind those vendors, leave those people in peace, and all those kind of things. Not understanding that you are in a town. There has to be a semblance of order.
Yeah.
Bay Street is the main artery into Portsmouth. You cannot have traffic congestion on Bay Street. You cannot have a situation where the ambulance wants to drive down Bay Street and it cannot access freely because you have vehicles vending on one side of the road, vehicles parked on the other side of the road, and people are vending on both sidewalks, both east and west of the street. You know, so that is one of the things we've been focusing on. That is one of the things if I'm re-elected, I will pay a lot of attention to. We need to regularize the operations of the market, okay? That is one part of it. One thing that we can boast of, although it didn't come from our funding, but from the beginning of this in fact, even from the last term, council has been spearheading the management of traffic in the town of Portsmouth. We initiated the discussion. We presented a plan that a previous council had prepared. This current council cannot claim credit for it. We found it and we thought it was workable, and we presented it to the traffic department. And a number of adjustments were made to it. But this current council can put that one feather in its cap as an achievement in this term of office. And it can be tweaked a little in terms of the flow of traffic. Yeah. We see that there can be some changes, but the point is we have a traffic management in operation in Portsmouth where you do not have that level of traffic congestion, and now you have a free flow of traffic in and out of Portsmouth. Okay, that is. Okay. In addition,
before you continue, I kind of want to take a few questions from the audience.
No problem.
I kind of want to backtrack a little. It will require that we backtrack a little. One of them was, if someone did not win in a ward, can they be nominated to be on the council after?
They can be, they can be recommended for nomination. But like I said, they can be recommended for nomination.
Okay.
But then the government meaning through the ministry responsible for local development,
right,
will reserve the right to accept or otherwise.
The other one is Pickard area managed by the Portsmouth Town Council?
Pickard area to mean the residential area of Pickard? Yes, it falls within the boundaries of the Portsmouth Town Council. Yes.
Okay, and has the town been extended to the Point Round area yet? That's
yes.
Mr. Rogers.
Yes. The boundaries go 1 mile beyond the Portsmouth. Yeah.
Okay.
So to a large extent, yes, PCAD point wrong, yes.
Point wrong is okay. So, and then this one is a bit wordy. It says, I think there was talk of working with DOASCO in adding land tax in the water bill or some other form of utility. How difficult is getting this off the ground?
I am not aware of that discussion.
Okay. Mhm.
Um,
Maybe it's a suggestion someone made,
it
and
may be something that needs to be taken into, you know. And even this year in the budget speech, I heard the government, the Prime Minister mention a move to tax property, underdeveloped property owners or underdeveloped properties, the owners of underdeveloped properties.
I really hope
Yeah, and I am based on what I understood in the pronouncement, it would include Portsmouth. So it's not going to be just to Roseau, but it includes Portsmouth, Kinfield, and Roseau. So I really hope that will happen. So people will take ownership. And as you talk about that too, that's one of the things we did in one of those national community service days. We undertook to clean a number of vacant, well, unkept lots in Portsmouth. Council, not bothering who property it was. We thought that some of them were strategically located, and we focused on cleaning them up. And at the same time, we decided to beautify the town. We got large size flower pots, planted some bougainvillea along the sidewalks and so on. And again, people just don't appreciate those things. They break it, they vandalize it, they use it as their garbage bin, and those kind of things. So but nonetheless, that is we're not daunted by those negative behaviors. So that is one of the things that we did.
I can mention that you have been hosting the district youth rally for the past few years, Independence Youth Rally in the north, and it's always a hit with the schools within the district, and people just love to be able to gather and experience that. So commendations, of course, and of course the council participated very strongly in hosting the Heritage Day.
Heritage Day, right. So even with the Northern Schools Independence, the Northern Schools Youth Rally,
right?
Is we've also upped the quality by when I got there, we were giving students a scroll to mark their achievement.
Yeah.
And maybe by the time they reach home, that scroll tear up or is all soiled up and so on. And we thought that boy, let's go one notch up. And for 2 years now, we've been giving them plaques, which they can go and hang up at their home, in their living room, on their dresser, on the center table. And when they become adults, they have something that they can look back at that they achieved when they were just primary school children. So those things and things like that. Quite apart from the nostalgia it brings to the town, and those of us who used to march at Independence time and so on, it has the opportunity to instill some sense of patriotism and love for country. And as I talk about that, there is a campaign we launched towards the end of 2019, and that was but it is dubbed I Love Posse. And we only were able to get to the point where we could launch it, and never got off the ground because of COVID-19. But there were 3 main objectives behind that campaign, and allow me to read it, please.
Sure.
Number 1, and your previous speaker alluded to some of those points indirectly. Number 1 was to engender a culture of civic responsibility, patriotism, community and human resource development, aimed at ensuring that Portsmouth becomes a model community in Dominica. That was goal number 1. Goal number 2 was to able to live in a clean and uncluttered environment where citizens enjoy mental and physical wellness. And goal number 3 was to create, or is to create, an environment that is peaceful, prosperous, law-abiding, and espousing the belief that we are each other's keeper. And that those 3 goals encompasses a lot insofar as community development is concerned. And that campaign was directing young people, primary school, secondary school, college people, and the community at large. Unfortunately, it's taken a backseat, so to speak, because of COVID. But again, we're hoping that we can bring that back to the fore in the current term of the council.
I'm happy to hear looking at something like this could take root, because there is a grand feeling, and not just a feeling, but I think a reality that the community needs that kind of spirit. We need a more social conscience. We need people who are more community minded, people who care for each other in the community. So I think it's a great campaign that you all are attempting, and I'm hoping that it can take, it can fly. We can see it happen then in the town, with everybody coming on board. Not just even young people, but across the board, the population of the town. So I'm hoping that happens, Mr. Mayor. I wanted to ask you though. I mean, you mentioned that the council receives a subvention of $17,500 monthly, and you did mention, how that is spent, etc. I'm concerned that first of all, I'm wondering how long has that been the figure that the council has been getting, every month. I mean, how long over the years have this been, the amount that the council has been getting monthly, and has the council been making any requests for more, recommendations to the powers that be, that there is a need for a greater subvention? I don't know. I'm just asking, because I think it's probably in the minds of the people too.
Yes, as far as I know, even before my time, some submissions were made for a review of the subvention. In fact, I was listening. I was part of an online meeting this morning where the CDB and the government of Dominica, together with the Commonwealth Local Government Forum and the Caribbean Local Government Association, are partnering to provide the local authority in Dominica with support in capacity building and project planning and management, financial management, and those kind of things. And the submission from one of the councils was that the issue of subvention across the board really needs to be reviewed. Because people, I mentioned property taxes, and the number of times council has taken a decision to take action. Yes, and first step would be to reissue invoices to people, and people don't worry you. And then the next meeting we say, boy, we're going to take those people to court, and then you don't have a consensus from among the council. There are diverse views, boy, and so on and so on and so on. Then you had Maria, especially in this term, where people were really hit hard. How are you going to take people to court now, and people don't have house, half of the house is destroyed or in a state, and those kind of things, But how long now do you, or will you, continue to extend that kind of consideration when the same people are saying, what council doing? So at some point in time, that has to be addressed. And as the person raised the question a while ago, it is not impossible but some mechanism can be initiated, can be put in place, whereby it's not a long shot, whereby property taxes are tied to some kind of utility bill. The system can be, I mean, there's a formula that is used. So the formula is applied to Titus Francis, and you know how much Titus Francis owes as property tax, and John Doe and so on. And then you just provide that information, and you can pay it in monthly installments. You can pay it half yearly, or you can pay it in one amount, and it is applied to some utility bill, and the money is then reimbursed to the council. So that is something that can be looked at, you know.
So I think a suggestion, I think maybe it's something that should really be explored, because maybe it's easier when people don't have to think about, oh, I have to go to the council to pay my property tax in this month or that month. By the way, what months, when should those property taxes be paid?
Anytime in the month, anytime in the year, sorry. But generally it is in April, and towards the end of the year, I think sometime in October or thereabout. So it's twice a year people are billed.
Twice
a year, you know, but it's not that you're paying twice, you know. It's not that you're paying twice. You just have to, you are reminded again. So you can pay in the beginning of the year, or you can pay anytime during the year. Or you have those two periods when, let's put it like that, it's tax collection time.
Okay.
You know? Yeah.
That's really interesting. I personally, I would like to see, one of the things I'd definitely like to see happen is those empty lots be dealt with, because I live in a forest. As far as I'm concerned, behind me, Flo, and I'm calling their names openly right now. Flo has a property right at the back of me there, and it is a forest unkept. They do not keep that property at all. Their vine crosses over, jumps on my fence, and I have to constantly go and do some cleaning because it is just horrible. And I'm not the only one, but I'm speaking for me, because they're bounding with a number of other landowners there. Then of course next to me is another one. In front of my house is another one. There are just like about 3 or 4 empty lots that I'm surrounded by. It's ridiculous. And these people are nowhere in sight, you know, to come and clean their property. So I really hope that that is something that can be done. And then of course with the property taxes, I think if people understand, and I believe tonight a number of people would have probably seen a better picture of why we need to pay those property taxes, and we'll probably be motivated to go out and pay our taxes, because we understand clearer now why we need to, you know. So I'm happy that you gave that explanation. But I want to also plug in something that was highlighted in last week's discussion with Mr. Ashton Revere. He mentioned the importance of the council having somebody who undertakes project writing, for example, and or if the council can co-opt somebody from outside just to focus on writing proposals that can address some of the needs of the town, so that if and when these come on stream, that we're not solely dependent then on building the town on just the property taxes and the little subvention from government. What are your thoughts on that? And is that something that you all are doing and we don't know about?
That's a good idea. And the consultation I referred to that I was part of this morning, one of the things also is to provide training in project writing proposals. So that is one of the things that will come out of that initiative.
Yep.
But yes, and also too, you could use the DALCA. The administrative assistant in DALCA is very well versed in project preparation. I can write projects myself, but I'm not undertaking to present myself as the project writer. But DALCA has the resources as well. And in fact, it was as a result of DALCA's project writing why Portsmouth Town Council was able to receive money for the repair of the abattoir in the market. In the first term, again through DALCA, the Portsmouth Town Council benefited significantly from a project that was financed by the Canadian Federation of Municipalities. And that is where we had, we were far into developing and organizing a small business association of Portsmouth. And then came Erica and funding just, in fact, unfortunately, the program came to Portsmouth towards the ending days of the program. And that is what we were able to benefit out of it. But also to, again, through DALCA and the Caribbean movement, in this current term, we are in the process of developing a climate energy action plan for Portsmouth. Now that you probably don't see cleaning drains in that. You probably don't see vegetation maintenance in that. But all of those things, poor waste management, contribute towards the problem that we're facing so far as climate change is concerned. The use of sustainable energy, or the lack thereof of sustainable energy, all of that adds to the heat that we're facing today. I see you apparently wiping your chin, so it's hot.
It's hot.
And, hot. And all of that is climate change. And anybody who doesn't believe climate change is real, just go back to your boyhood or childhood days when you could bathe at the front of Portsmouth Beach, and right now the sea is almost into the town. Why is that happening? Look at what is happening in Portsmouth now. Once it rains for half an hour, the town is flooding. You know, and as I'm saying that, council was part of a walkthrough of the town sometime last month with the CTO, Chief Technical Officer in the Ministry of Public Works, the engineer, the PAL rep, Mr. Nanton, myself, and representative from Gadakan. And there is a definite plan at addressing the issue of flooding in Portsmouth. And as far as I understand it, it is a must-do project, and it is a project that is going to happen. And among the recommendations is, I'm not sure if you're young enough, I won't say old enough, to remember or know of the storm drain that went west into the bay along Granby Street from the Domlec office now. And part of that drain is still there by Kitnick's there. So the recommendation is that drain must be reinstalled to take care of that excess water that goes into Indian River. And even if you will have to improve the drain into Indian River, but angle it in such a way that when it pours in or joins the Indian River, it joins the Indian River at an angle where it joins the flow. Because what is happening, it goes straight into the Indian River. And because the Indian River itself has raised its bank, it sends all the water back. The plan also calls for regular dredging of the Indian River, so you reduce the water level, reinstatement of the drain at the eastern end of Benjamin's Park as well, by Jumbie House, and those kind of things. So council is part of that. So like I say, you don't see a wheelbarrow, you don't see Mali pushing a wheelbarrow, you don't see any of the council employees of a cutlass, but those are some of the things that you don't see, you don't feel, but council is actively involved in.
Well, I'm happy to learn about the journey and what is being done, or what you all are looking at doing, because I know for a number of us it is a major concern. And as you mentioned, I mean, before it rains, the place floods, and we all know why at this point. I think that will also call for some garbage management on the part of all the people. I mean, all of us in the town, how we take care of our garbage, that our garbage doesn't leave and find itself in the sea and also down in the Indian River, which we have to also protect, because it's part of the tourism industry, and how all guys, put down all these guys, the guys down at pivotal,
Yeah.
you know, how they are benefiting from the Indian River. So we have to ensure that even it is married or coupled with garbage management. I know that there is a lot of effort being done with that, but even individually as people, it's going to require everybody on board, you know.
Yep.
Someone has a very good suggestion here, and I would like you to see it. It says it would be great to have the mayor, whoever it may be, at least once a month, keep the population aware of what is going on in the community. And I share that view highly. I believe the need for greater discourse in the community on what is happening, be it positive and if it's negative, how those things can be dealt with. But there is a greater need for that in the town. Yeah.
I agree with that. And you just have to use the more effective means of communicating to reach out to people, because gone are the days when you would call a meeting. In fact, you don't have credit union hall again, so you hardly have a place in Portsmouth where you can have a sit down meeting, so to speak. But yes, you might have to do some little whistle stop meetings, public meetings, and again, if the funds are available, you could do a little bulletin once a month, bulletin for free, circulate it, and use technology. So the same issue of a web page, Facebook page, and those kind of things. So yes, those are very good suggestions that council can look at moving forward to be in greater contact with the municipality.
Yeah. All right. So that is great. Mr. Mayor, I do want to ask you the question that I asked Glenworth earlier. It's because I keep seeing the debate online about the Portsmouth Town Council election. A number of people believe it's partisan. What is your take on that? And do you think that Portsmouth Town Council election should have anything to do with, you know, the national politics per se? How do you think? Do you think that that is something that is ingrained in our elections in the town? And do you think if so, is it helping us as a community?
I don't think it is, honestly. People may associate the candidates with certain political leanings, and by political leanings, extension to mean political parties. Okay, people have their own views on things, and sometimes in cases like that, it works better if you present yourself as a group of people rather than 8 individual persons going up for election. You have 8 individual people with different agendas, 8 different agendas. It doesn't mean that you cannot merge all of them and have a plan that represents the interests of the town. But I don't think it is political. People politicize it. People politicize it, but it's not political. And at the end of the day, it is the town. The town is not Labour. The town is not UWP. The town is not Freedom. The town is not APP. The town is the town of Portsmouth. And the people of Portsmouth must take ownership of the town, and ownership irrespective of where you stand or on which side of the political divide you are. Honestly, that is my opinion. And personally, I am willing to work with anybody who comes on the council and has as their primary focus the development of the town of Portsmouth.
I appreciate your comments on that and your willingness to work with any and everybody who comes. As you say, as long as their goal is community development, then you are happy to work with them. So that is
let me just say something there. Sorry, huh? Sure, I mean, sure. in the last 6 years, I have had people, councillors who were diametrically opposed to some of my views and my positions, but I had to respect it. And as always in organizations, majority rules. So when a matter is put to the vote, the majority carries. There is a situation going on where, and an initiative was undertaken by a private citizen, not a council, and wanted the council to endorse it. Now, the endorsement would require my signature. And I told the person, I cannot do that. I cannot do that. The council has to meet. As a council, the council has to discuss the proposal and take a position. And they took the issue to another councillor. And that councillor called me and said to me, I won't say he or she, but you know, when we speak, it's easier to say he to mean a neutral gender.
Yeah.
So that councillor, he told the person, if I know Titus wouldn't sign that just like that. And that is something for council to deliberate upon. And I told the councillor, boy, that is the first time I hear you agreeing with me. You understand? So we can agree to disagree. But when once we arrive at a decision or a position that reflects the interests, the combined consensus of the council, and is considered to be better for the town of Portsmouth.
All right. So I asked you also some questions. You've given us a lot of education about the council. But you are going up a clean slate, so to speak, right now, because put aside, as you said, the council is at the moment dissolved, which means that you function as mayor, but as you said, it's almost like it's a new start. So as you are, that's your dog?
Yeah, that's my dog. And that tells me somebody's coming in my yard.
Okay, right. Maybe you might peep out if you want. But I was asking you then, as you're offering yourself right again in the fresh start, what would you like to say to the people in your ward that that would probably encourage them to support you or something?
Yes, I'm offering myself as a candidate in the Lago ward. I could say boldly that my running mate is Conrad Mead, Fritz, better known as Fritz. My symbol is the tree, and Conrad's symbol is the car. And in the ward, there are a number of things we want to do. And we're talking about council not working and so on. And I just want to highlight one of the things that Conrad and myself undertook to do. And that is using our own resources, financial, most of it from me, and otherwise, we sought to repair the Lago public convenience. And it's at a point now where it is ready for public use. And we are holding back opening it until after the election, simply because we don't want people to say, they know election was coming, so they run and open the public convenience to catch votes. You understand?
Yeah.
That is what we've done. I mentioned my commitment to community and so on, and even as a councillor, I have used my personal resources over those years in financing some shortfalls in the council. Although people think, I was telling somebody yesterday how much money. Do you think I get a salary? Do you think I get a salary? Yes?
Yes,
A lot of people think it's a paid job. The mayor gets $480 a month. Yes.
Really?
$480 a month. The other councillors get $240. Okay?
Oh,
So that's why I said at the beginning,
it's voluntarism.
Voluntarism. And if you're not ready for it, don't come. There's no payment in it. It is all for free. Out of that $480, I commit $100 to telephone because I must have credit on my phone every month, every time. People call me all weird hours of the day. I must be able to return calls. And the rest of the money, sometimes I use it to do all kinds of things indirectly to facilitate the operation of the councils, and so on. I'm not boasting. I'm not blowing any trumpet. the office knows that, I will say, okay, use my honorarium this month to help to do that, and so on, you know. And that's what it
Somebody said it's rich, man.
Yeah, you see what I mean? That's it. My son thought I was rich.
Yes, yes.
And my grandson thought I was rich with $480 a month. You know what I mean? So it's part. So you have to understand what you're getting into, you know, and then you have to commit yourself to wanting to attend meetings.
Yeah.
At least once a month, you know. And if you know you cannot attend meetings on a regular basis, at some point in time, you have to tell yourself that is not for you. As much as you don't want to do it, you're not doing the consular service, and take a back seat for the time being until you are in a better position to commit yourself. True. You know, and attending meetings mean, you know, in all organizations, you have a rule that if you miss X amount of consecutive meetings, you've almost quit, vacated your seat and so on. So everybody know the strategy. Don't come to one meeting and miss two, and that kind of thing, and then miss a number of meetings. Don't come to meetings late and leave early, and so on. You know, you in it, you in it. You're not in it, you're not in it. You know, and that is what distinguishes service from non-service.
I appreciate that invitation tonight, because I think as a community we must really appreciate them over the years, the many people who have come through the doors of the town council.
Very much.
You know, for pittance, and as it says, it's just a stipend, it's not a salary.
Exactly.
That you all are receiving, and you are offering yourself to serve. So I personally want to thank all the people on behalf of the community. Thank you, Mr. Mayor, and all the former mayors, you know, over the years who have served our community, and all the councillors as well, who have given a lot, you know, to let things happen. Granted, as you say, you said it earlier, there is always room for improvement, but no system is perfect in the world, and we as community, we ourselves need to be more supportive, I think, of what is happening, and see how we can extend our help to the council and the councillors to make things happen. So I want to thank you for that, and thank you for gracing us with your presence tonight. You. Really a lot of education there tonight, I must say. Yeah.
Well, that's part of it, you know, because yes, we need to do more of that so people can be better positioned to participate and contribute towards the town through the council in whatever way that they can, you know. But moving forward, those are some of the things like I outlined some of the things, some of the initiatives that are taking place, and a little more community involvement, you know, at what you might call the ward level or the grassroots level. One of the things I'm thinking of we can do is, you know, Portsmouth is very rich in football, but you really just have one football team.
Yeah.
It's a club, right? Yeah. One football club, but that club has attracted players from all four wards.
Yes.
But no one ward has a football team.
Got you. No, Glenville probably has a team, you know. Glenville has a football team.
Glenville has a team, but who they playing with? So well, what I'm saying is, one of the things I want us to do is to develop a local Portsmouth football league.
Yeah, I'm with you. Yeah.
And that in itself now will bring more talent to the fore.
True.
And you may have more than one team next year participating at some level of the DFA football competition. You know, so that again is not cleaning drains. That is not making sure people spend in the market, but is a form of meeting one of the goals in the Isle of Portsmouth campaign.
Yeah, but I hope the Isle of Portsmouth campaign, thank you for sharing that. I hope the Isle of Portsmouth campaign takes off. I mean, I know you said you launched it. I don't recall hearing about it personally. I'm not saying it wasn't done, but maybe it's something that you can begin to push virtually and let people start buying into it. So once you go into actual physical activities that people can converge about and in, then maybe it will become easier for people to buy into it. So maybe another time we can talk a little bit more about the Isle of Portsmouth campaign and see where it can go from there.
Yeah. I'm available at any time. Yes.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Mr. Mayor. I wish you all the best in the election. Your ward is my ward, by the way. Well, that's
Thank you very much. All right. So I hope you're sold.
Yeah, yes. So I will definitely, as long as I'm alive, I will come to vote. I mean, I always take those elections very seriously. I think it's important that I vote so that I can speak.
Exactly.
If I don't vote, I don't think I should have a voice.
That's the point.
You know?
That's the point. Yeah.
Yeah.
Participatory.
Yes, definitely. Someone is asking, where can we read up on this campaign? I'm not sure which campaign she's talking about. Oh yes, the
Maybe
post.
the I Love Posse campaign.
Yes.
It has not hit the social media platform yet, but
Okay.
that is part of it. Yes.
All right, great. So it's something we should look forward to seeing and hearing more about.
Yes.
All right. Well, thank you again.
Before we go, let me just let the people in the Lagon ward. I could just say it for the all 4 wards, but the Lagon ward, with Maria, the traditional polling stations no longer exist, and with children having been out of school for so long, it was practical to close down school for 1 day again. So, and the youth center in Lagon is been destroyed. So for the Lagon ward, the polling station is going to be in the house of Joyce Julian Andrew. That is along the main street in Lagon. You enter in Lagon. It is almost opposite Peter London's premises, or 1 or 2 houses on your right. If you enter in Lagon, 1 or 2 houses on your right before the the Cottage Labour Party constituency office. That's where the polling is going to take place. In the Portsmouth ward, the polling is going to be at the adult education office. That is at the back of St. John's School, where Dowasco used to be some time ago. And that's where the adult education office is. A lot of people should know where the adult education office is. Okay. In the case of the Zikak ward, the polling station is the Northern Women's Development Club House, or what we call the Jumbie House. And that is along the Granby Street, just on the intersection of Market Lane, I think, and Granby Street at the back on the eastern end of Benjamin's Park. And let me see if I recall where Glanville Award is. I don't have it at the top of my head. It was very well with the Glanville Community Center.
Okay.
Yeah, but I can reconfirm that.
Sure, sure. We have some time to tell the folks exactly where it is. So I invite you, Mr. Mayor, if you have any such information that you would like to share with the public, you can always send it to me, and I will try to send that out as well to the folks. So I'm hoping that everybody got that information and can do what it takes to go out and vote. I think the key here is
it's necessary, and you said it. I mean, if you don't vote, you don't have a voice. Stop asking what the council doing, and help the council to do something.
Sure. I'm with you on that.
There's this famous quote that I think it came from John F. Kennedy. Don't ask what the country can do for you, but instead ask what you can do for the country. Yeah.
All right, and I know that it's people might say, well, it happened a while now, but I also want to extend condolences to you and your family on behalf of the town. On behalf of the town, extend condolences to you at the passing of your dear relative, Sister Rhoda, and over the time, very challenging times for you all. So I just want to extend all condolences to you.
And I can tell you one thing: I'm not looking for public sympathy, but her passing touched me very, very, very deeply. Yeah. Up to today, I was telling somebody that. Yeah. And sometimes when I try to compare it with my biological mother, I don't think the passing of my mother had the kind of impact that the passing of Rhoda had on me.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's deep.
All right.
Okay, so all the best. And
thank you very much. And let me congratulate you on that program. You know what I mean? And it's you call it let's call it local community radio.
Okay.
And it's a good initiative. I want to applaud you significantly on your effort, and I observe too that you have a very strong following both locally and outside of Dominica.
Yeah.
And to encourage you not to give up.
Thank you so
All right?
much. I appreciate it. Appreciate it. Okay, see you around.
Thank you very much. All right, see you then. All right,
Okay.
bye and good night to your
Bye.
listeners and for viewers and everybody else.
Indeed.
All right.
Have a
All right,
blessed
thanks.
night. Yeah.
You too. Thanks. Bye bye.
All right. So yeah, you had it, folks. We had our mayor. I know he says that the council is dissolved, but he's still the mayor, and I call him Mr. Mayor, so I will always say Mr. Mayor. And he shared with us quite a bit. I know if you missed some of it, you can go back and watch the video later. You can either view it on YouTube on my YouTube channel Influences, or you can see it right here on my Facebook page Influences, and capture all of the discussion. Quite a bit of education there, but also motivation for us as a people to go forth and be part of our community development. Get to know all the candidates, all the nominees presenting themselves to serve. Get to know them, talk to them, engage them in discussion, and find out for yourself who you want to vote. Your vote is important, so we want you to go out and let it count, okay? I know some of you feel discouraged, despondent. Come on, let's get a new start. And let us, once we vote, then we can also meet these people and challenge them again. What are you all doing? How can we be of support to build our community into the Posse that we love? I love Posse, and make it more than just words, but action. So I really, really want to thank all of you for tuning in. Before you go, a quick announcement. Those of you, the ardent football fans especially, just note that there will be buses available for fans wanting to go to Roseau to support Bombers on Sunday. And folks, buses will be leaving at 1:30 p.m. So if you want to go to watch the football match on Sunday, big match, let's go support our Bombers, LA Bombers. All right, let's go support them. All right, so bus leaves at 12:30 p.m. If you want to go, just go down to the Borough Square. You can catch a bus and enjoy the fun. Wear something red for Bombers, because Bombers t-shirt, Bombers colors is red and white. Wear something red. We're supporting our LA. We're supporting our Bombers. And remember, let us be vigilant. Even if you're going to watch the game, don't forget COVID. Let's exercise those protocols. Walk with your mask. I see we go to those games. We love the games, but we don't take our masks with us. Please walk with your mask. Wear those masks. Walk with your hand sanitizers. Do the necessary. Look out for the next person. Protect yourself and protect the other person. On the bus when you're going, and in the stadium as well. It's a big game on Sunday, but go to church first, all right? Go worship God somewhere of your choice, and then go and enjoy the lovely football. Let's pray for good weather, that we can have lovely football on Sunday. I am hoping that the other candidates, the other nominees from the other wards, Glenville, Portsmouth proper, will come up and offer to you guys their plans and ideas. I noticed that they have put out some flyers, and I am happy to see some of them. And maybe I can quickly just show you guys some of what I found. Okay, so you saw Glenworth. That's his flyer, and it's pretty cool. Vote 2020, Glenworth Elizee, Portsmouth Town Council, Ward number 3, Zikak Chance. Last week we spoke to Ashton. Ashton Revere is in Ward 4. He said, let's get working together. Dela was in Grange Gutter. All right, then we have some, let me see the others that we've not spoken to. I think I've seen some of the flyers. There is this one with let's make Portsmouth greater. I don't know if they have some influence from Trump, but that's what they say. Felix Carre and Cleve Seja, I challenge you, come and talk to the folks. Cleve, we have that talk. Come and talk to the folks. Then we have Miss Carey, Mrs. Carey, Brady Prince, and Mr. Sherrod Pierre as well in the Glenville area, and they are offering themselves to serve. So we have some did I capture everybody? Let's see. And then we have, of course, for Chance again, Ward 3, we also have Mr. Frankie Antoine and Mr. Fabian Honoré. Hoping all of you can come on board, maybe Thursday. Just telling you guys, Friday, I won't have a program on Friday coming, but I'm hoping that on Thursday evening, God spare, before that Friday, we can have this program, because Friday is my special day. I'm going to take a break. Don't know what I'm doing yet, but I don't want to be sitting here talking like this on Friday evening on my birthday. Wish me happy birthday already. But yes, I'm serious about it though. We won't be having a program next Friday, but I'm promising that if any of these people that I showed you a while ago are willing to come on board and talk to you, I will make it happen on Thursday evening, God willing. So call them, tell them, show themselves, because folks want to hear from them as well. I want to say thanks to you. I wish you all God's blessings. Let us remain safe. Let us remain prayed up. Yes, always pray. And let us have a splendid weekend. We have a town to build. So let's build together. Thank you guys for the comments. Some of you say you enjoyed the program, you enjoyed the discussion. Thank you for tuning in. Hey Rob, how are you doing? Nice to have you, brother. Always a consummate communicator. I miss you, Rob. I miss you big time. Mr. Rogers Larrock says there will be cricket in the park this Saturday and Sunday. For those who love cricket, come and relax and watch. And the breeze on the park is always so lovely on a hot day. So let's go watch cricket and let's support our football as well. Okay, guys? Thank you for the happy birthday greeting. Hey, Trace, enjoy your program tonight. Hopefully we can hear from the others as well. That's my prayer. That's my hope. All right, having said that, I bid you not bye-bye. I think we will see again. So all the best. God bless. Yeah. Ciao, folks.